Hi guys, my name is Mutasim and welcome to Magic World of M&M. and and today I'm going to tell the story without seeing this book. This is Gernimo Stilton or Gernimo Stilton, the Dragon of Fortune. I'm going to tell it without seeing it. So now I'm keeping it here, and so let's begin. So first we have to I have to tell you that the basics. First part the first part is that when Gernimo was in his home, Mouse Island, he randomly got a ring, and then he kept it in a nightstand drawer. He didn't know what kind of ring that was. So who keeps a ring in a nightstand drawer? Seriously. So yes, then he got a call from Blossom. He didn't. Then at night, when Crowbar the Cruel came, he took the ring away, and then Blossom said, "Bad things are happening to our kingdom of fantasy. Where is my ring?" Blossom asked Gernimo. Now you might be asking, how can Blossom know that Gernimo took the ring? Actually, Mel the Magnificent has a book that tells everything. So then Mel told to the Blossom, and then Blossom just got informed and called Geronimo. So then what happened is, so then Blossom called Gernimo, and then Blossom told all the things, the winged ring, and then Gernimo knew that the ring that he kept in the nightstand drawer was actually really special because it controlled the kingdom of fantasy where Blossom and Mel the Magnificent and everybody used to live, not the Crowbar the Cruel or the evils. So then Gernimo tried to find it, but first Gernimo went to Kingdom of Fantasy, and then everybody called him foolish one because he lost the ring, and everybody was so sad. And then Queen Blossom said, "I trust you, Gernimo. You can bring the ring, right?" Gernimo replied, "Yes." And then Mel the Magnificent came. Gernimo didn't see him for the first time. He saw it for the second time because he saw it in his dream. So yes, and then his brain said, "I saw this guy on your dream, right? But not Blossom." So then Mel the Magnificent told, "You have to return it in 21 days and one night. So then Geronimo went to complete his mission, but then Mel the Magnificent said, "I have to. You have a guest. You can't go alone because you have a wand and you are not a wizard. Wizards are good. You are not a wizard. You don't have a wand. You don't know magic spells. So I'll take Wolfie, but I have to take a test of Wolfie real quick." So then after the Mel took the uh, exam of Wolfie, then what happened is, so then Wolfie got trained and all, and then Mel gave then they only had 2 members, so then Mel gave a knight, and the knight also came with them. And then Mel told, wait, I'll give my special dragon, the Dragon of Fortune, named Light Bright. Everybody hopped on it, but then when they reached before they reached Kingdom of the Fantasy, Wolfie met her friends and she told, "This, I'm giving you a hat. It had a ruby in the bottom, and that controlled the witch's mind. So Wolfie would get notified if something bad, if they thought of something bad and did that." So the hat basically tells about the future, what the witches will do after 1 minute or after one day or after tomorrow. So then they began the journey, but the friends didn't come. They gave the hat and then they went away. And then what do we say? Then Wolfie said, what a pleasant gift it is. It's wonderful. I've never got a better gift than this. And then what happened is, then everybody hopped on Light Bright, the Dragon of Fortune again. And then when they reached Kingdom of Fantasy, they then Light Bright faded, because Light Bright was a dragon, so when he saw the sun he disappeared. So he disappeared and he vanished from the sky, and then Gernimo, Wolfie and the knight fell down, and they fell on a tree, and that tree said, "Who are you, little mouse?" Yes, so then they began the journey, as you know. Then they fell, and then Geronimo randomly met a tree. He said, "What are you, mouse?" And then Geronimo passed every tree, but the tree had a twist. They talked and they walked and they ran, and every tree chased Geronimo, but then luckily Geronimo escaped, and then he again hopped on the dragon and they began their journey. And then they reached the castle. Geronimo fell out of a window, and Wolfie as well. And Geronimo fell over Wolfie, and then, "Ouch, that hurts," said Geronimo. Then Wolfie said, "No making sounds, or the witches will know that we are here." And then they got a key. They got a key. Then they searched for the lock so they can open with a key. And then they did, but on the ground floor they dug the ground and they found it. But they found a safe, but it was golden color. And the safe had another twist, because it was golden color and it bit the hand. It bit the hand of Geronimo. So then luckily then Wolfie said a spell, and the safe slept for for a long time. Then Wolfie luckily got the wing ring. It's the wing ring. But then Wolfie dropped it and Light Bright got it, then gave it back to Wolfie. Then they started their journey. But it was a twist. They again fell down, and the witches now heard them, so they fight. They were only 3 versus the witches. They are like more than 10, and Gernimo, Wolfie and the knight is 3. So then the book came of Mel the Magnificent. It's a really good book, and it's called Mel the Magnificent because he knows a lot of great spells. And Wolfie went with Geronimo because he wasn't a wizard. He was just a mouse with no wands and no magic powers. So then the book came of Mel the Magnificent, his favorite book of all time. And then he said, "Wait for me," came flapping his pages, and then Geronimo luckily caught it. And then Mel got notified because it was his favorite book, so he kind of like set it something on it, so wherever it goes, Mel get notified. So then Mel told it to blossom, and all the wizards went for it. And then they saw the witches, and Mel the Magnificent was magnificent, so he defeated all the witches. But there was one left with the queen of the witches. And then what do we say? The wither said, "Ha ha ha, I have the wing ring. I'm gonna be the next queen of the Kingdom of Fantasy and the queen of the witches country." So she was already a queen of witches country, but she was not of Kingdom of Fantasy. So yes guys, it's not all. I'm gonna tell you more. So then what happened is, Wither didn't know and the witches didn't know that Gernimo had already caught the winged ring, and they didn't know it. So then Mel the Magnificent fought all the witches and they won. Then they began their adventure. They hopped again on Light Bright, and then they began the journey again to Kingdom of Fantasy. But it was one more mission left for Gernimo. Gernimo was not good at sewing. So then he hopped on the moon as well, and he sewed it in less than 10 minutes. and then again he hopped on the dragon, and his journey again began. When he reached Kingdom of Fantasy, he returned the ring to Blossom, and everybody was happy. And then Blossom said, "I believed you, Mouse. You did it." Everybody was happy. And then Mel said, "Thank you for returning the ring. I'm gonna give you a surprise." And then Mel gave his dragon Lightbright to help him cross Kingdom of Fantasy, because it was a long way. He can't walk that much, and that's why then he hopped on the Dragon of Fortune and then began his journey to his home. And then dragon dropped him at his home, and then the dragon flew away to Kingdom of Fantasy, back to his owner, Mel the Magnificent. And then Gernimo said, "Home, sweet home, what is better than a home? I love my bed, it's so cozy and everything." And then the story got end. So bye guys, make sure you subscribe, like and share, and I'll see you next time.